This video contains major spoilers for The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. It's finally time. You've survived the wilderness. You've helped villagers of various settlements. You've fought your way through countless shrines. You've regained control of the mythical divine beast. You've gathered your weapons. You've prepared your meals. And there it lies before you. The final challenge. I'm Ouroboros. Let's talk. This is the best moment in Breath of the Wild. It's all been leading up to this very moment. Ever since you emerged from the Shrine of Resurrection, you knew it would come to this. The journey up the castle is my favorite moment from Breath of the Wild. Not only in terms of the gameplay aspect, but more so what it represents. It, like many other final dungeons, represents the culmination of your journey throughout this immense game. So let's start from the very beginning, shall we? You emerge from your slumber and are greeted by a simple introductory cutscene. It's nothing grand. It's a far cry from the heroic setups of Wind Waker or Skyward Sword. It's understated, just a simple scan of the environment. This is what Breath of the Wild is at this moment. It's you, and appropriately, the wilderness. There are times, specifically when dealing with the Divine Beast, when you interact with the inhabitants of Hyrule, but the game is you traversing the vast, decrepit continent of Hyrule. You've seen the ruins of towns and strongholds alike, but none quite like those this close to the Calamity. You've encountered guardians, but never in this vast quantity. You've likely explored central Hyrule out of curiosity, and most likely met a terrible fate. The lead up to finally entering the castle is chilling. You've probably gathered all the memories, so you know what happened. You know that Zelda endeavored to live up to the fate her father entrusted upon her. And now, even in death, all he asks is that you save her. She's been there, single-handedly keeping the Calamity at bay for the past 100 years. She's done all she can do, so as you trek through the ruins of the castle and fend off the hordes of guardians, you finally arrive. You arrive at the massive gate that guards the castle. Does it keep you out, or does it keep everything else in? At this point, it's irrelevant. And you open it with Magnesis, the first rune you unlocked all the way back on the plateau. It's come full circle. And so you step foot in Hyrule Castle, and you hear it. In what feels like the first time you get the grand, heroic music you thought were long gone from this game. It starts low. It's heroic, but with a tinge of melancholy behind it. Like you're determined to finish this adventure, but sad that it's come to this. You're sad that you had to watch an entire kingdom crumble overnight, but it must be done. The percussion marches to the footsteps of you, the one-man army of Link. All in the background you are reminded. You're reminded of the near omnipotent presence of Calamity Ganon. His theme plays behind you, watching, almost as if it too has been waiting for this very moment. And these two conflicting musical identities clash, the somber heroic and the brooding evil, until we are taken to the main theme for The Legend of Zelda. The music is lopsided as well. It never quite settles into a consistent meter, constantly shifting between 5/4 and 6/4 bars. The piece eventually reaches its climax after the statement of the main theme from the full orchestra. the same somber melody that we heard at the beginning, but with newfound energy, and the soldier's footsteps still heard in the back. Unlike the beginning, when we have the transition back to the beginning, Ganon's theme is absent. However, there's one more aspect of this music that you may not have noticed. When you enter the interior of the castle, you are greeted with an adaptive soundtrack via an organ arrangement of the same theme. It's commonplace in Zelda to have an organ associated with Ganon, but instead of the exact same thing, just reduced to one instrument, we get a new section, Zelda's Lullaby, a reminder of who this journey has been for. Not only that, but we also hear the low health sound effects from A Link to the Past, signifying her deteriorating condition over the past century. All of these ideas fight for your attention as you yourself fight the ever-increasing gauntlet of enemies both outside of the castle and within. And much like any final dungeon, it serves as a test of strength. Every potential challenge is here for you. Guardians, Lynels, basically every enemy is here, including the Blights if you didn't defeat them in the Divine Beast. And much like the rest of the game, you're free to explore and fight as much as you want. You've got the option to go through the gauntlet of mini-boss fights along the exterior road up the castle, or you are welcome to make your way inside the castle and fight hordes of lesser enemies. All the while, the Guardians are watching you from the skies and from the ground. There's no escape from their all-seeing eyes. On the way up, you can't help but be reminded of everything you've lost. The champion abilities are a constant reminder that, even in death, they're still with you. The weapons you collect inside the castle are a reminder that countless of Link's comrades fell during the Great Calamity. The ruined city below you is a reminder of the civilians who were crushed by the Guardians. And of course, you have Zelda's study, a place that is rather difficult to get to, and one that features a variety of optional text to read. But the most impactful thing in this small, insignificant room is the lone silent princess that has somehow managed to thrive here. This is where Zelda's heart lies. Not in her awakening, but in her research. Not as princess, but as scholar. There are other rooms and extras for you to explore, but once you enter the sanctum, your journey up the castle ends. It's here that you fight Calamity Ganon and eventually leave to take on Dark Beast Ganon, but I'm not here to talk about those fights. As fun as they are and as good as the rest of the game is, to me, nothing compares to the journey up the castle. It's the culmination of your entire journey, and if you're someone like me, someone who enjoys immersing myself in every minute aspect of a game, you'll know that this comes at the end of a near 100-hour journey. And to the characters in the game, this is the culmination of a century of fighting back against the Calamity. It's really one of my favorite moments in the Zelda series. I know we've had multiple journeys that have ended with Hyrule Castle, but this one sticks out to me the most. Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess are also great examples of this scenario. It's honestly been years since I've replayed Breath of the Wild, but I still have fond memories of finally reaching this area after a long and exhausting adventure. The journey up the castle is the best part of Breath of the Wild. It's the culmination of every moment of gameplay, every second of cutscene, and every line of dialogue. Thanks for watching.